Most artists know this feeling. You found a beautiful reference on social media and you're excited to turn it into a drawing, but somehow it doesn't work like you want and it looks kinda odd, too realistic, or just not like your style at all. It's not that it's a bad reference photo. Maybe it's how you are using the reference. In this video, I'm going to show you how I take a real reference photo, break it down in its shapes, and turn it into a manga style drawing. As for most people, Pinterest is usually my first stop when I need some inspiration. I just pick the photo that catches my eye at that moment and download it so I can close Pinterest. I think the most of you know this problem, but Pinterest is really distracting. After I downloaded my image, I import it in my drawing software Clip Studio Paint and put it on my camera. First of all, you should analyze the anatomy, like the angle of the head, the position of the shoulder, and the pose of the upper body. When you have problems with the anatomy, it's a good method to break down the human body in simple shapes like circles, triangles, and cylinders. Here you can see how I'm overpainting the refs to highlight the shapes. As soon as I understand the anatomy and the pose, I can start to draw the same or the similar shapes beside the refs. For me, it's a really good practice to expand my knowledge, and when I'm in a bad mood or in a bad period, it's a good change in the moment. In the beginning, I'm starting with a rough silhouette and add more and more details with the time. To flip the canvas is a reliable method to check the composition and find parts that are looking odd, so you can correct them immediately before you go further in the process. A second tip that helps a lot is to work from the big sketch to the smaller details. But make sure you don't get bogged down in the details, just like me. When you have finished the sketch, just flip the canvas a last time to control if something is wrong. Here, for example, I noticed that the back eye still looked a bit odd, so I corrected it. The sketch part is the best moment to use the liquid tool or the lasso tool to move and change parts of the sketch, like the body that was too small for the head, or the eyes are not in the right place like before. When you are satisfied with the sketch, you can start with the line art. I'm using the classic Real G pen with a rough texture and default settings, and I'm working on a normal layer. This is a personal preference. When you want to use another tool or a vector layer, feel free. Before I start, I always control the thickness of the pen. That's just to check if it's too thick or thin for the artwork, and then I start mostly with the face. I'm a person who loves to zoom in while I'm drawing, so it's important to zoom out sometimes and take a look at the full drawing. If it's possible, try to avoid to zoom in too much. Learn from my bad habits. As an alternative, you can also open the canvas on a second screen so you can always see the whole drawing at a glance. To avoid zooming in helps you to focus on the whole drawing and don't focus on small details that needs too much time, if you are struggling with this. For the hair, I use a different layer and also a thinner size of my pen. In my experience, it looks way better when the pencil is thinner. I personally prefer to highlight just some parts with thicker lines or edges, but in this drawing I completely forgot it. And with the thin lines, the hair looks lighter and more fluffy. Thick lines make the hair look heavier, of course. But here too, it depends on the tool you are using. A pencil or a watercolor brush can give a completely different effect to the drawing. And as you see, I'm spending more time than necessary on drawing the hair. I really love to draw long hair and enjoy drawing this part next to the face the most. Meanwhile, it's a part of my style, but to be honest, for me it's just relaxing. For the full sketch, the line art and looking for a reference, it took me almost an hour, if this information is interesting for you. And here's a short disclaimer. There are people who think that using references or 3D models is cheating. In my opinion, that's nonsense. How are you supposed to learn to draw something if you don't know what it looks like? I, for example, couldn't just draw a horse out of the blue because I never done it before. Even pros are using references, so use them and learn from them. And one more tip on this point, make sure the image that you are using isn't AI generated, as the anatomy in these images are often incorrect and you can easily pick up bad habits. So always use proper photos. So let's go back to the drawing. I'm going to color now, so please sit back, listen to some relaxing music and see how I reference the colors from the photo to finish the final drawing. And I hope you enjoyed this part and I could help a little bit. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I'm happy to help or give some more tips. Bye bye!